Friends, Brian here once again for Be Better Personal Training, your personal training in the Pontiac region, serving Shawville, Quebec, Portage-du-Fort, Ile-du-Grand-Calumet, Campbell's Bay, Fort Collonges, and even further, Pembroke, Renfrew, and Arnprior. If you want the very best in personal training, sometimes driving a little further is worth it. I also want to mention here that I give online by Zoom consultations. If you're someone who has some questions or you need some guidance and maybe you live a little further away, you want to just talk online to get going on the right program, I'm your guy. PontiacPersonalTraining@gmail.com. Okay, so today I want to talk about something because, as you know, if you've been following these videos, when you're someone who's in the know, you realize that a lot of people are not in the know. You have to combat all these stereotypes, urban legends, misinformation, to actually educate people, to help them. So today I want to talk how we look and our health and how that is tied into our happiness in life, okay? Now, I am someone who's been on both sides of the coin. I've been in shape and I've been obese. If you're following our Facebook page, and follow our Facebook page, you might have seen one of my posts when I talked about in my 30s. I had a lot of responsibilities on my shoulder and I was working upwards of 80 hours a week. And I neglected my health, and I put on a lot of weight, and it was not pretty. In my 40s, I started working out again. As many of you might have known, back in 2022, I got very sick with what was going around the world, and I had a lot of other problems from it that went on for a long time. I put on a lot of weight. I was almost 350 pounds. But when I started feeling better, I had my 50th birthday approaching, but I knew what to do and how to do it. Within 6 months, I lost a lot of weight and got in really good shape. In fact, I got in trouble on social media. I had some social media apps saying, this isn't possible, this is unrealistic. I had people posting saying, this is bullshit, this is a lie, this isn't true. And I was like, okay, wait, no. You just got to know what you're doing, okay? We live in quite the society now where people are quick to point the finger, quick to accuse people. It's just crazy. But I've been on the other side. I've been really overweight, obese. I've been very unhealthy. I've been there sitting on the couch, eating a lot of junk food, watching Netflix, and not feeling good. I've seen my health starting to escape me. I've seen my body start to break down. I've seen a lot of, bad changes in ways I'm not even going to talk about here that happen to middle-aged men when they're overweight. A lot of things that they would never admit to, but it's there and it happens. It's not pleasant. I've also been on the side of being very in shape and healthy, and I can tell you that being on this side of the fence, being in shape and healthy, is a much greater quality of life than on the other side. So I want everyone to know that I have empathy. I know what it's like when people struggle with food addiction, when people are struggling with being overweight. They just need someone who knows how to do it, take their hand and say, hey, I can help you. And it doesn't have to be all this crazy madness and all this confusing stuff that a lot of people think. So often I talk to people about your pie chart of happiness. What does that mean? Well, first I have to try and draw a perfect circle. Let's see if I can do that here, okay? Not bad, not bad, okay? It's not like I used a protractor or anything. But if we had a perfect circle, okay? And we said, okay, this is your pie chart of happiness. What are things that are going to make you happy? Well, for a lot of people, we'll take a chunk of that pie, would be their job. Okay? Another one might be finances and investments. Okay? I'm going to hope that you guys can read this here. Okay, another one might be family. Okay, another one, probably a big piece too, would be your relationship. Okay. Now, another big one, we could probably put in a few more slices of something else, but another one, whether people want to admit it or not, is how we look, and our health, okay? They're kind of tied together. So let's say you're really overweight and you're sitting on the couch and you're not feeling good, and every day you're like, we all have these private moments, folks. Like, no one can BS me here, okay? When we get overweight, we start feeling really awful. We all have those private moments when we get out of the shower, we have just a towel on, we look in the mirror and go, oh man, right? But looking better, it's not this narcissistic, attention-seeking, look at me thing, right? Flexing my muscles, going, wow, I'm so amazing. It's not. It's just about being healthy and feeling better about ourselves, okay? You know, I've had a lot of people say to me, well, I'm going to live happy and eat what I want, this and that, and that's great. But don't complain to me about feeling awful and all the ailments and all the problems that you're going to start having, okay? Trust me, you're not going to be happy, okay? So if you won the lottery tomorrow, okay, let's say you won the Lotto Max, whatever it is, where you live, let's say you won $70 million, okay? Yeah, it'll probably bring on a whole bunch of new problems because you're going to have everyone coming out of the woodwork trying to get money out of you. But yeah, you don't have to worry so much about your job anymore. If you hate your job, you could quit your job. Finance investments, that would be great. You know, I'm not saying being wealthy is bad. I mean, when you don't have to worry about paying your bills, it's a good feeling, right? Family, that might start to get a little complicated, but hey, you got a solid family, it's all good. Okay, your relationship, but it's not going to matter with all that money how you look and how you feel, right? You're still going to have those moments getting out of the shower going, oh man, what the hell happened to me? And I'm not saying this to put anyone down. I'm just saying, like, this is reality, okay? I'm honest to a fault. I'm the guy that when you talk to as a personal trainer, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, but I'll do it in a nice way, right? But how you look, right? But we all have the power to make change with that. The sad thing though, if we look around in society, I often tell people, say, hey, what if we went out to a really busy mall, okay? Somewhere where there's thousands of people walking, we see a lot of people. If we look at how people are aging, a lot of people over 30, even 25 now, look at how people are aging. Men tend to take on that shape, and their stomachs are growing. They're getting more fat on their chest. They're kind of limping because they've got all these problems starting to happen. You know, women sometimes, you know, they're putting on some weight. We're not a healthy society, folks. And what makes it even more frustrating for a lot of people, they'll go to their health practitioner and say, like, what do I do? Well, either they'll be quick to prescribe something which isn't really treating the root problem. They'll be told stuff like, well, you know, eat a little less, move a little more. Or, you know, just start counting your calories. Now, don't get me wrong, counting calories can be important, and being calorically aware of the foods you're eating is very important. But that's something we get into with our clients once they learn how to properly eat to lose body fat and to build their bodies and to build their muscle. How we look, okay, if someone sees someone in shape, the first thing someone does is probably say, oh, well, they're probably taking something. If I took something, I'd look like that. It's like, no. We're in such a sick society now that if we see someone who's healthy and in shape and working hard, people tend to try to discredit them, disparage them. Because for some reason that makes a lot of people feel bad about themselves because they're just not willing to prioritize themselves and their health. Like, think about it. Why is it when we're really unhealthy, we're more and more overweight each year, we have health problems starting to set in, even though we know we need to do something? I know what it's like being on the couch. People can't convince me otherwise. You're sitting there in the back of your head going, you know, I really need to do something. I need to get out and be more active. I need to probably not be eating so much of this. But we do it, and we look at exercising and eating better as a huge inconvenience. But the reality is it sets us free. But the problem is, the further step is when people are willing to take that step, they don't really know what they're doing, and they don't really know how to do things properly. So they'll kind of try a few things going by the, you know, the misinformation out there. They might try something for a week or two, not really see the results they want, and then they quit. What's the point? You know, and then they look for other solutions, which can or can't be good. So how we look, our health is tied into our happiness, and especially as we age. Again, guys, when I made my physical transformation a couple of years ago, I had a lot of people say, it's BS, this isn't true. Well, it did happen, and it is true, but I knew exactly what I was doing, and I've come to realize that a lot of people really don't understand how it works. And that's my job and my calling now, is to help you get in better shape, get your health back, become stronger, become healthier, feel a lot better. That's what I'm here for. So for all of you out there who are too shy, maybe a little insecure, just set up a consultation. We can actually do the consultation over the internet, over the computer if you want, by Zoom, whatever you like. You can contact me at PontiacPersonalTraining@gmail.com. And remember, guys, I know the battle, I've been there, but you have a hand in this. You just have to make a choice. I know there's many of you out there who are just sitting there, probably not ever going to do anything, just keep going down that path of worse and worse and worse every year. But I know there's some of you out there that are saying, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I need to do something about it. And you know what? If I'm going to look into investing and doing this, I don't want to waste time. I want to do things the right way, right away. I'm your guy. Contact me. You guys have a great day.